Hello and a big welcome to the channel. I'm the Motorsport Madman and this is the season opening Bahrain Grand Prix. Welcome to the stream and welcome to a brand new season of Formula One. Please do drop a like on the stream if you are new to the channel, or if you're just joining now, or even if you're watching on a replay on a random Wednesday afternoon. Please do drop a like. It does help the channel out and get us on the YouTube algorithm. Also, do subscribe as well. We just hit 500 subs. It's only taken me 3 years. Hopefully, it's not another 3 years to 1,000. So hopefully, we can get turning in the right direction. But we are half an hour away from the start of the opening race of the season, and I am on full hype mode. I cannot wait. I just hope the Ferrari race pace is good and they can challenge Verstappen, and also Russell from third. What can he do? I didn't expect that in Q3. Mercedes was struggling to even get into Q3, and then bam, Russell pulls that out of the bag. And then we also got Perez as well. He'll probably come through from fifth. Alonso, who was third for a little bit in quali until he got pipped by the Ferraris and Russell. But yeah, also star of qualifying it was. Got to be Nico Hülkenberg, P10 in the Haas, which got written off before the season even started. But it's a top 10 start for the 37-year-old German. But I can't wait for this. I'm pacing round for half an hour, mate. I honestly, as such as what a letdown last season was. I come into this so fresh, and so rejuvenated. You know what I mean? The 2 months off and the 2 months to recharge the batteries. I'm so ready for a new season. I cannot wait for this. Yes, Mitch, welcome to the stream, bro. Come on, Hamilton. Yeah, I'd love to see. I think, in quali yesterday, I was saying, he must have made a mistake on the quali lap. But I don't even think it was that. I think it was that Lewis has gone for more of a race pace setup, whereas George went more for the qualifying pace. So in theory, Lewis should come through. Obviously, he's got to pass a couple of quick McLarens in front of him, who were probably hoping they would be a bit higher up themselves, to be honest. 7th and 8th for McLaren. Not amazing start, is it? But not the disaster that they had at the beginning of last year. So yeah, McLaren in the mix. But yeah, Lewis will be looking to clear the McLarens and probably Alonso in the Aston probably early on. But we'll see. We'll see what that race pace of the Mercedes is. Can George challenge at the front? I think there might be, and I hope there is, going to be a mad lunge into turn one, because Leclerc and Russell are going to think, if we've got any chance of beating Verstappen here over 57 laps, surely they have to just full send it into turn one. Surely. That is the best hope they've got. Because I feel like Red Bull's race pace and Verstappen's race pace will be mighty. So I'm hoping for a little bit of a gung-ho move from either Leclerc or Russell into turn one, just to make the opening stint a little bit more interesting than it otherwise would be if Verstappen gets a clean start and leads out of turn one. If Verstappen's leading at the end of lap one, it might be looking a bit ominous. But if someone else has snagged the lead on a dive bomb move into turn one and it's all of a sudden George Russell that leads at the end of lap one, we might just turn the excitement of this race up a few notches. So I'm fully up for that as a scenario. Yes, Chris, Hülkenberg was a shock, mate. In a good way, yeah. Yeah, and that's what this season needs. We didn't have enough of that last season. Alonso was quick at the start of the year, but we didn't really have many upsets, many shocks, many underdog wins or anything like that last year. Which was a shame, we always, even in a bad season, you'll get a couple of underdog shock wins or shock, like the Magnussen pole position in Brazil, or Gasly winning in a Toro Rosso, or flipping Ricciardo winning in a McLaren, or Ocon winning in an Alpine. We didn't have any of that last year. It was a bit basic Bob, So hoping that we are in for a much closer season this year. I imagine the Red Bull's race pace will be mega, like I said, but at least in qualifying, it stands in itself in a bit of positivity for the competition of this season, because it was only by a couple of attempts, and I said that going into quali. If it's a second, it's a tough gig. If Verstappen had got pole by a second, it's a tough gig. But by a couple of attempts, I can live with that. Like I said, I don't mind Verstappen winning. I don't mind Verstappen getting pole as long as it's hard fought. And yesterday it was hard fought. In fact, Leclerc in Q2 actually set a faster lap. So Leclerc had the chance for pole position. Pole position was there for Charles Leclerc yesterday. He just didn't take it at the right moment. He didn't peak at the right moment and take that opportunity. But he's only a couple of attempts back, and hopefully the Ferrari race pace is really good, and we can get a nice 57-lap race, 2-stop race it'll be. So most of the guys, I was seeing what the strategies are looking like. It's looking like soft tyre to start the race, going up to about lap 15-ish, and then a long middle stint on the hard tyre, and then a short stint at the end of about 15 laps at the end on the softs again. So I don't think the medium, a few drivers will go out of sync and do their own thing, and a few drivers will be on alternate strategies, but I think the idea is hard tyre, soft tyre, hard tyre, soft tyre. Yeah, soft, hard, soft, with medium not even playing a role. But Patrice Everett on the grid. But yes, Chris, Hulkenberg shock. Can't believe how bad Alpine are. Alpine absolutely shocking. I knew they were bad. Like, I knew they weren't looking good, but I didn't think it was back row of the grid bad, I knew Alpine weren't looking great from testing, but 19th and 20th on the grid, plumb last for Alpine. Up is the only way they can go from there. But like Ted Kravitz said on the notebook last night, he was like, who's going to deal with the crisis better, Ocon or Gasly? And that's what it's going to be for Alpine. Who can deal with the crisis better? And because that's going to start unraveling quickly if they're way outside the points with no chance. Things are going to start unraveling there at Alpine. And it is about who's got more patience and who can deal with the crisis. So, yeah, peak times at Alpine. But, yes, Kim, welcome to the stream. Sorry, a bit behind in chat. Get on a waffle, get on a subject, and 10 minutes goes by. But yes, Kim, welcome to the chat. I am good. How are you doing? My top three exactly the same as yours, Perez. Well, my prediction was done before Friday practice 1. If I could change it now, I probably would. I'd probably have Russell a bit higher up, and is it going to be a Red Bull 1-2? But hopefully not. But that was my prediction before FP1, so I'll stick with it. We start editing predictions. Oh, he's a little bit quicker in quali. I'll just edit all my predictions now. You stick with it, stick with my guns. So that's the prediction I've gone for. Jeremy Clarkson on the grid. But yeah, so I've got early on, I played it safe. Verstappen, Perez, Leclerc was my top three. Might end up coming true, but we'll see. But yeah, let's hope Leclerc has finally grown some ball. Leclerc, when he's in with a chance, when he was in that championship fight at the first half of 22. He was full send. He was going toe-to-toe, wheel-to-wheel with Max Verstappen, and then he binned it in France, and then from then on, Verstappen's just won every single race since. But yeah, I hope Leclerc can really give it to him and put up a good fight, not just today, but for the whole year. Yes, Swade, welcome to the stream, bro. Hope you're doing well. Yes, SHT, how are we? Finally here, almost lights out. I know, I can't wait. I'm like full. I'm on like 1,000,000% adrenaline here. God, not wait for this, mate. Always a first race of the season. Like, if anyone ever asks me, like, oh, what race would you go to? First race of the season is always my answer. Like, that is, like, wouldn't you rather go Monaco, British Grand Prix? No, first race of the season is the biggest race of the season, in my opinion. or if it's like a championship finale that goes down to the last race. But that's 1 year out of 7, isn't it? You know what I mean? But opening race is always the biggest hype for me. Always the first race, and the first race will be back in Australia next season, which it should be. Which would be better as well, because then they'll do the testing at Bahrain and there'd be a bit more of a mystery going into Australia. So yeah, Australia's going to be back to being the first race of the season next year, which I fully back. It's better that way. Yes, Barbara, welcome in. Maloney dominated. Has he done the double? I say I haven't seen it because I was at work this morning and I've got to go back there again tonight. such is the rigmarole of trying to be home for a Saturday Grand Prix when I work on Saturday. I've actually split the shift in half, so I'm doing 4 hours in the morning, 4 hours at night to make up an 8-hour shift. So I've got the middle of the afternoon off. But fair play to my colleagues who work round the Grand Prix calendar. Big ups to Lawrence and Dan, who come in clutch, because really I should be at work right now. So big ups to my colleagues who actually arrange their social life around the F1 calendar. So massive props, because this channel wouldn't exist if I didn't have great work colleagues that are flexible like that. So big ups, Lawrence, if you're watching, mate. Absolute legend. Because I wouldn't be here. I'd be stood in a garage. But yeah, exactly. Don't mind it. Yeah, exactly. That's it, Chris. That's it for me. I don't mind who wins as long as it's close. If Verstappen wins every race, but it's hard fought every time, I'll take that. That's not what I'm hoping for, but I take that over Verstappen winning by 45 seconds and he can do an extra pit stop just to take the piss, like in Austria. Like, that's dead. But yeah, expected Alpine to be outside the top 10. Exactly. I thought they'd be about, 15th and 17th, something like that, but back row for Alpine, absolute crisis. But yes, Barbara, welcome to the stream. Ferrari fan. Hey, I'll be joining you next season. I'm not gonna lie. Listen, I've been doing these streams fully neutral for this is the 3rd season. I'm here with Mercedes cap, but I've got Aston Martin cap, Alpine cap, Haas. I've got merch from half the grid. I'm not really bothered with, but next year, the Hamilton Ferrari hype. Mate, I'm jumping on that train. I don't even care. I'll be full Ferrari merch all year next year. I don't care. I was a Hamilton fan back in the day, and then I've sort of, as I've got older, I've become more neutral and seeing it from above and sort of respecting all the drivers. But next year I'm going back. I don't care. Next year I'm like, yeah, let's finish this Hamilton chapter with a bang. We're going full Ferrari hype next year. So yeah, this is the last year of being neutral, telling you. So enjoy it. But yes, Chrissy, welcome to the stream. Let's go. We're about 15 minutes away from the start of the race. Martin Brundle's on his grid walk. Not heard a jot of it, but seen one, you've seen them all, really. A few interviews with celebrities who probably don't even realise what's going on. But yes, Rob, let's look for a banger. Let's look for a season opening banger. Praying for a season opening banger. You can't wait to the end of the race, saying it's end already. What, me? Yeah, I'm like full of all this positivity now then. Cut to the lap 57. Well, Verstappen wins by 54 seconds. I hope it's not. But it could be. I hope it's not, but it could be, bro. But anyway, we stick with it through thick and thin. Yes, SHT, let's talk about Norris a bit. Yes, it became a friend. It became a what? Oh, a trend. Yeah, almost every time Norris does something crucial in Q3, tends to make errors that cost him time. Yeah, I'm not really sure. I think McLaren would have been hoping for a little bit better than 7th and 8th, but better than the beginning of last season. Just put pics of JA Discord. Jasper up your tree. Was that Jasper your cat? I hope it's your cat and not like your kid. Not your cat, in it. Yes, say the JA. Yeah. Big ups to JA for coming through to the streams. Open fireworks at the start. This is what I'm saying. I feel like if you're Leclerc and if you're Russell, you're thinking, if I don't go for the dive bomb, risk it for a biscuit into turn one, is there going to be another opportunity? Maybe, you know, if there's safety cars, if the Red Bull's got reliability issues, or, you know, the downshifts are not consistent, you know, all that. You know, if you get reliability issues, yeah, but turn one could be their only chance to get near Max. So, do you just full send it? You know, if you lose a front wing, well, there's 23 more races to go, including sprints, call it 30 races, another 30 races after this. So, you know, but then again, it's easy for me to say that if I'm actually sat in the car, I'm thinking, let's just play the long game, take a podium and go to Saudi Arabia. But it is what it is. But I'm hoping for fireworks, mate. I'm good, Anto. How are you, mate? Welcome to the stream. Look at this. He's flying over like a massive Gulf Air Airbus about 1,000 feet over the circuit. Fair play. Jesus, look how low he is. Not sure about her outfit, pink and orange. Does it go that? Well, anyway, I'm not got one, am I? But yes, Sainz should just send it. Yeah, where's Sainz? So Sainz is P4. Sainz should just send it this entire season in general, really. You know, no holds barred, you know, he should just fully go for it. You know, like I said yesterday, what are they going to do? Sack him? Yeah, he's already been sacked. So, yeah, Carlos Sainz should just be on full attack. And, you know, no pressure. Well, obviously, there's always a bit of pressure. Like, obviously, he'll want to be sensible in a way that he's got to put himself in the shop window for the Mercedes seat, Aston Martin maybe, or even a Red Bull seat next year for Sainz. I don't think it'd be completely out of the question for a Verstappen Sainz lineup next year if Perez is off it again. Well, I wouldn't be surprised if they take him as a nice number 2 driver to Max. Verstappen Sainz, to me, Verstappen Sainz is stronger than Verstappen Perez. You know what I mean? Unless you're Mexican, are you going to disagree with that, really? Verstappen Sainz is stronger, is it not? I feel like that would be a nice one for Red Bull to go for. If Sainz wants to do that, he'd be in a championship winning car. So there's not a lot of downside apart from your teammates Max Verstappen. And that's about as hard of a challenge as you're ever going to get in this sport. But I suppose you want to measure yourself against the best as well. If you think you're the best, if you can beat Max, you are the best. I think Ayo Komatsu has been decent. Well, yeah. I mean, Ted Kravitz was saying yesterday that it's sort of changed the work ethos a little bit at Haas. It's become a bit more sensible because Gunter Steiner was very off the cuff, you know. He broke my fucking door. Fucking hell. You know, he was a bit mental, wasn't he, Gunter Steiner? And that's great for TV. Oh, Netflix Drive to Survive. Oh, Gunter Steiner was the star man. Forget the drivers. Bloody Gunter Steiner, team principal of the worst team on the grid, who was the biggest star. So that says it all. Like, he had the personality, but do you really want the team boss being like fucking making us look like a bunch of fucking idiots? You know, do you really want that? Or do you want someone who's like an actual, you know, a bit more subdued? You know, so I think the atmosphere's changed at Haas, and Hulkenberg's smacked a top 10. They're actually interviewing Gunter Steiner on the grid right now. He's got another role. I don't know what it is, but he's got another. He wasn't out of work for long, I tell you that. So he's got another role within Formula One. What exactly that is, I don't know. But Gunter Steiner's still there, still hanging about. You know, well, more than hanging about, making a banana milkshake. Mint. I've got me juice ready. Oh man, I can't wait. 10 minutes to go till lights out. Strawberry. Talk about milkshakes. Built to the first race of the season. I couldn't be more excited. Perez would be good in a Williams if he gets dropped. Ooh, will Perez do that? Or would he just go, I've made my money, go and retire and spend life with my wife and kids and... I don't know. How old's Perez? About 34-ish? 33, 34? If Perez got dropped by Red Bull, would he even carry on? Because what would be his options? What would be his options? Aston if Alonso retired, or Mercedes wouldn't have Perez, would they? Russell Perez? I mean, Russell Perez wouldn't be terrible, but I don't know. I think Perez would probably sail into the sunset with his millions and go, well, I'm set for life. At 34 years old, GG's had a good run. Because Perez, to be fair, Perez has had, 12 years in the sport up to now? 13? This might, when did he join? 2011? So, yeah, it's just like 13, 14 years. He can chill on that. Imagine Albon Perez. Albon Perez would be a strong lineup for a team that's at the back of the midfield. Yeah, but I can't see Albon. Surely Albon doesn't stay at Williams forever. Really, this should be Albon's final season at Williams. Really, Albon deserves a top drive now. Like when he was just chucked in when he was a rookie, it's very difficult. But now it's Alexander Albon V2 version 2. I reckon he'd absolutely slap at a top team now. Albon to replace Hamilton. I think that's unlikely, but I'd love to see it. I think Russell Albon's a stacked lineup. But I feel like Mercedes might play it safe and go for like Ocon, which would be a bit of a... But then there'd be kind of a stopgap before Antonelli. If they went for Alonso, it'd be a stopgap before maybe Antonelli or whoever. So I don't know. It's a tough one. I think Alpine's going to be the new biggest stars on the air. But do you know what? I heard, I don't know if this is true, but I heard that's been axed now. That this series of Drive to Survive that's just come out based on last season is the last one. I might be wrong there, but it's not something you keep going forever and keep getting. How many series are you going to make? What, in forever? Like Coronation Street never ends. I never watched Drive to Survive, but it's great for the new fans and the US fans and all that. But yeah, I did hear that it's been axed, but I don't know if that might be cap. I don't know. Gunter is now F1 pundit. That makes sense, right? So he's an F1 pundit for German broadcast RTL. Yeah, I've heard of that. Yeah, so Gunter's on the punditry one. Not a bad idea that. 5 minutes away from lights out. Here we go, bro. Oh baby, Perez to Imsa. Yeah, maybe you do that. If Perez was dropped, maybe you just go, yeah, let's go to Imsa or something, and which is just in America, I think. Imsa just does US tracks. Maybe he does that. Good shout. But we're on for 2024 Bahrain Grand Prix. Here we go for the intro. Oh, mate, I can't wait for this. Boom, boom, boom. Oh, mate. A brand new season, mate. Has anyone got anything other than Verstappen win today then, or what? Or are we writing it off? Are we writing it off now? I feel like the first lap is crucial, isn't it? Also, the DRS is after one lap this year. Instead of at the end of lap 2, the DRS can be activated at the end of lap 1 now. So this pack is still going to be really close together, and then bang, introduce DRS into it, which I like that. So they do lap 1 and then bang, DRS. So lap 2 could be, lap 2 could be tasty if Verstappen hasn't already got a second gap. You see, that's also critical. they've got to keep Verstappen within a second in that first lap. If they don't go for the lunge into turn one, they can't just let him disappear on lap one. They've got to stay right in the slipstream and then bang, lap 2 DRS and do him. What tyres is everyone on? I don't know that yet. I know we need to know that now. It's time to know what tyres everybody's on, Brev. Come on. Oh, what's the... Yes, Ernesto Tiesto. Welcome to the stream, bro. You're just in time for the start of the race. Big ups to you. We'll have to have a catch-up soon, bro. I've not spoke to you for a couple of months. I have to have a bit of a catch-up. I think there'll be a Demcast next weekend, so you have to get on, mate. Get on the proper 12. Here we go then for the grid of the for the 2024 Bahrain Grand Prix. It's Gasly P20, Ocon P19, Sargent 18th, Zhou Guanyu P17, Valtteri Bottas P16. It's Kevin Magnussen P15 in the Haas. Daniel Ricciardo P14. I've got him scoring a point today. We'll have to make up a few positions. Alexander Albon P13 in the Williams. It's Lance Stroll P12 in the Aston Martin. Yuki Tsunoda P11, just outside that top 10. Nico Hulkenberg, the star of qualifying yesterday, P10 in the Haas. Lewis Hamilton P9. He's got positions to make up, and I think he will today in the race. Then we've got the two McLarens of Piastri P8, Lando Norris P7. Then we're getting to the sharp end of the grid. Fernando Alonso P6. Sergio Perez will line up 5th on the grid. Top 4 then, Carlos Sainz, in entering his last year as a Ferrari driver, alongside George Russell, who starts 3rd. Impressive lap in quali yesterday for Mercedes. And the front row is Charles Leclerc, P2. And of course, your man, the big cheese, the 3-time defending world champion, Max Verstappen, starts from pole position for the Bahrain Grand Prix. First day back at school. Yes, Martin, let's fucking go. Who's ready? Made it. Yes, Salty Dog, mate. Welcome back. I know you've been been part of this channel since pretty early on, so welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to a brand new season. Yes, I got Sainz pole position. The qualifying was yesterday, mate. Pole position it is a term used for your grid position in qualifying. So pole position is Verstappen. But if you mean the win, you're going Sainz for the win. I would back that. I would love that. That would be certainly a bit of an upset and would make the season very interesting. If Sainz wins the race, we've had an interesting race, I'll put it that way. We've had a very interesting race if Sainz wins it. I would love that. Lights I saw the night in the Penny Arcade. Yes, live track. Welcome to the stream, bro. Just in time for those, right? And Anthony's here as well. Pierre Gasly from P20. Yesterday in quali when he went slowest, I had to just go Pierre Gasly. It was the sad version, mate. You can't be giving it Pierre Gasly when he's starting at the back. Oh, this is a long season for Alpine. This, I'll tell you that for free. It's a long season for Alpine. But here we go. We're on the formation lap. We've got the lap counter as well this year. We're all upgraded, all ready to go. Hopefully the live GPS thing will work. I know it's small, but you know, just adds a bit of something to the stream. But yeah, starting the 3rd season as well on this channel. Did 22. Well, those streams are a bit peak. Last year things improved a bit in terms of the streams, but this year, yeah, a little bit improved. Right, so this is the possible strategies is like I say, they're going soft, hard, soft. What tyres is everybody on then? Does that match up with what tyres everyone's on? We need to see the graphics. Come on, guys. Well, the top 10 will all be on soft. So does that rule still exist? But I think from 10th back, you can start on whatever tyre you want. Too much proper 12 last night. You missed it. What did you miss? Oh, yeah, the Pierre. Yeah, Gasly crosses the line, P20, and I'm like, Pierre Gasly. Savage, right. Oh, baby, we're nearly there. We're nearly there. Leclerc, pray. Yes, pray for the Leclerc dive bomb or the George Russell dive bomb into turn 1. That is certainly what I'm praying for. Oh, last 5 winners. 2019 Hamilton, 2020 Hamilton, 21 Hamilton, 22 Leclerc. Oh, yeah, Leclerc won the opening race of 22. And then it was like game on, wasn't it? Yeah, that's what we want. We want like a game on scenario. And then Verstappen obviously won it last year. But yes, isn't pole position originally from them qualifiers? Yeah. Ah, that might be the origin of the word. It's like on Countdown when Susie Dent does origins of words. Yeah. I think that's probably sounds right to me. I've never heard of it, but you was on a mad one yourself. Didn't know they changed the lap. Yeah. So at the end of lap 1, DRS for lap 2 is on, mate. Bang. So only the opening lap where you know DRS. Oh, we're lining up on the grid for a new season. Of course we are. We're back again. Here we go. 2024, baby. Oh my God. Okay. Is everything ready? Are we set up? Are we on? Can you hear me? Oh, I'd turn your volume down now if I were you, mate, if you're watching the stream. Oh, my God. Volume warning. Leclerc's got the inside line as well, mate. Verstappen's on the outside, on the racing line, but Leclerc's got the inside. If you don't take full advantage of that, mate, please get a rocket start, Charles. Please. I'm sat here with Mercedes out and cheering on Charles, but... Oh, here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It's go for a brand new season. We are racing in Bahrain. And look at that little bit of wheel spin from Verstappen. He has to defend from Leclerc. Straight away, it's the inside line. But Leclerc's going to try it around the outside. Oh, there's a little bit of contact between Verstappen and Leclerc there. And we've got Aston Martin been tagged. And Aston Martin's been round. Lance Stroll's been tagged. There was a little bit of contact there between Verstappen and Leclerc. But Leclerc, they all get away cleanly, apart from Fernando Alonso. And he's still... I tell you what, Sergio Perez had a good start as well, from 5th up to 4th and challenging George Russell immediately for 3rd. So it's been a bad start for Carlos Sainz, who's dropped back a couple of positions. But it is Verstappen who leads them away from Leclerc. Then Russell, then Perez, then Sainz, and behind that, Alonso, and the two McLarens go side by side into turn 7. Front wing damage for Nico Hülkenberg, so it must have been Hülkenberg and Alonso that came together at the first corner. But Verstappen leads them away, then down the back straight into turn 11. It's Verstappen, Leclerc, Russell, Perez, Sainz, Alonso, Norris, Piastri, Hamilton, and then Yuki Tsunoda, P10. Let's go for 2024. I tell you what, Leclerc tried it round the outside, and I'm sure the Red Bull and Ferrari had a little bit of a nudge was going on there on the exit of turn 1. Oh, the new season is go. Now we get to look at the red, so we get DRS activated now. And look at this then, the Ferrari Sainz all over the back of Perez. And then a bit of a gap, but look at that. Then Norris having to defend a little bit. Hamilton hasn't made up any positions at all. Starts P9, stayed P9, and DRS is now activated at the start of lap 2. We've got Sargent versus Ricciardo for P14. Whoo. Oh, yeah, we're not... Damn right. Oh, new front wing for Nico Hülkenberg. Oh, when and all the qualifying hype, all the qualifying performance, forget it. So we need to see a replay of the start in a minute, because I think the top two came together a little bit. And also we can see what happened to Stroll and Hülkenberg, and must have come together in turn 1. We are looking at Lewis Hamilton still in P9, and he's got to hunt down those McLarens and pass them pretty early on in the race, I would have thought, to open his race up a little bit. Yeah, no more luck for Hulk. Shame that. Now, what's that gap? What gap? No gap. 1.5. Verstappen leads Leclerc by 1.5 at the end of lap 2. Oh, yeah, you see, Verstappen's already out of DRS. But look at this, second, third and fourth are all close together then. So Leclerc, Russell, Perez. Oh, and look at that then. Oh, and Norris has gone down the inside of Fernando Alonso. So Norris up to P6 then in the McLaren, down into turn 1. Oh, and look at this then. The Ferrari and Mercedes of Leclerc and Russell go side by side. And Russell's got second place. Let's go. George Russell stepping out of the shadow of Lewis Hamilton this year and goes round the outside of Charles Leclerc. Let's go, George. Go on, this big season for George Russell, this. Oh, we've got Russell with the race pace. Let's go. Oh, and look at that then. Leclerc locking up into turn 9. Oh, Leclerc's in trouble. Leclerc is in trouble, under pressure, already passed by Russell, and Perez is hunting the Ferrari down as we head into turn 11. Verstappen leads by 2 seconds. Oh, yeah, if Russell can close the gap on Verstappen, mate. Game backing on, mate. Disaster for Stroll, yeah. No more luck, yeah. Curse Leclerc. Nah. It's calm. Is the lap updating? Because it's meant to be lap 3. Well, I don't know. Is the live timings updating and everything? It should be. Or is it? Oh no, I think it's crashed. I think it's crashed. Of course, the website's crashed. Do we refresh it? Oh, it's crashed. Of course it has. Never mind. Look at the stream now. All the data. God, there's too much traffic to this website. It crashed yesterday as well. I'll just keep trying it every so often. But it's Verstappen. It's Verstappen who leads Russell by 2 seconds. 3 months of preparation. And we've got 2 big black boxes on the stream now. The website that does the live timing, mate, cannot deal with this. It just cannot deal with it. I'll keep refreshing it every few minutes and see if it comes back alive. Robbie Science wins or you'll fly to the UK. Alright, deal. Mate, anyone who joins the stream now is thinking, whoa, what's this? What position is anyone in? Forget it. Oh, that's out of my control, you know what I mean? The website for the live timings. I mean, it had this problem yesterday. Let me... Oh, we're seeing a replay of the start, meanwhile. Right, let's have a look at the replay of the start then. Nico Hülkenberg. Did Hülkenberg hit? Yeah, so he's sort of down the inside, and yeah. So it's Hülkenberg into Stroll. Hülkenberg into Stroll, not on purpose, you know. It's just one of them. Look at the start from Valtteri Bottas. Look at this, down the inside. I tell you what, it was an ambitious start from Valtteri Bottas. And he's just and it's a little bit bumping and barging into turn 1 there with Bottas. Oh, God. Look at... Oh, no, Leclerc's had another lock-up into turn 10. I tell you what, Leclerc's struggling. Yeah, live time has disappeared, mate, but it is what it is. I can't... Leaderboard. Right, I'll try and refresh it, and I'll bring back the leaderboard if it... if the website comes back on. Oh, I think it's gonna load. Authentication. Race. Right, what's the situation here? Well, I tell you what, Verstappen's disappeared, and then so Russell's done Leclerc, but it can't clear Leclerc. Right, the website's back up. Let's go, bang. I don't know why that lap thing's like that. Lap 6, baby. Just a quick little edit here going on. I don't know why it's done that. There you go. Right, the website's back up. What an absolute shambles. Right, so Piastri's done Alonso as well. Meanwhile, while I'm sorting out these issues. Why is it reset like that? It's thrown the whole thing out, man. There we go. Right, we're back on. The live timings is not having a good day. I think it's crashed. Oh, we'll just have to leave it. Sainz is closing in on Alonso now. Look at this, and Leclerc, Perez, and Sainz. And they can't, and Russell can't clear him, you see. So it just ends up, we've got like a four-way battle for P2 here. Verstappen's disappeared by 4.7 seconds at the front. And then it's Russell, who's only 0.6 ahead of Leclerc, who's only half a second ahead of Perez, who's only 0.4 ahead of Sainz. So, yeah, second, third, fourth, and fifth. Line astern, and then 3.5 seconds to the McLaren pair. Nah, the live times is not having a good day, mate. I've just bin it off. I'll try and keep you updated the best I can. The live timings is not having a good time. But look at this then. Perez on Charles Leclerc for third. Oh, and he's done him. Oh, look at this. The Ferraris are struggling. Leclerc is struggling as he loses another position. So it's now Verstappen, Russell, Perez top three with the two Ferraris. And I think it's only a matter of time before Sainz passes Leclerc as well. Wow. Yeah, apologies for the live timing meltdown, but Perez is having to defend from both Ferraris into turn one though, because they've both got DRS. And this is giving Russell a little bit of breathing space in second, but it's now Perez ahead of both Ferraris, and he's got to try and defend it the best he can into turn four. Ooh. Is Danny Rick really sitting behind Sargent? I think he is, yeah. Verstappen wins. Well, still 45 laps to go, but he's looking pretty strong, isn't he? They should work together to catch Verstappen, yeah. Yeah, imagine team radio between drivers. Right, come on, guys. We need to all team up here. We just DRS train our way to Verstappen the best we can. If Red Bull really was able to coast down the stretch last year, spend all that time developing, exactly, it could be a long season. Yeah, exactly. They've probably been working on this car since the middle of last season, but. Look at the gap. Verstappen 6.5 seconds lead. Oh, look at this. And Sainz having a look at Charles Leclerc into turn 1 at the start of lap 9. And Leclerc locking up again. Oh, I tell you what, Leclerc is struggling. I can see Leclerc being the first one to pit, you know. How many seconds this live timing is going to work for this time before it crashes, I don't know, but it's back on for now. So that's the order then. Verstappen, Russell, Perez, Leclerc, Sainz, Norris, Piastri, Alonso, Hamilton, Tsunoda is the top 10. Like you say, Ricciardo behind Sargent. Ocon and Gasly for Alpine 16th and 17th. But yeah, Leclerc struggling on these soft tyres now. Lap 9. Is this like this, man? Why is this giving me such a fuck? Oh. Oh, and Hamilton passes Alonso into turn 1 then for 8th place. Right, hopefully that's it for... Can only pray that the live timings... I think it's froze again. Oh, it's froze again. Oh, look, yellow flag. Sector 1, Sargent looks like he's out of the race. He might be the first retirement of the season. Oh, there's a lot of smoke there. Has he blown the engine up? There's a lot of smoke there. Is that from his car? Look at that. He's rolling back. Sargent's done. Are they gonna rock a safety car here? Are they going to safety car this now with Logan Sargent stopped? He is off the track. Verstappen's race pace is absolutely evil. Verstappen's race pace is criminal. Oh, he's got it going again, Sargent. So he's back underway, and look at this, and Sainz shaping up for a move on Leclerc. Lap 11, and Sainz is down the inside of his teammate. The two Ferraris go wheel to wheel in Bahrain. Oh, it's extremely close. Sainz is still pushing him away, and who gets the position? Sainz up to P4. The two Ferraris wheel to wheel on lap 11. Sainz has got the position. So it's now Verstappen, Russell, Perez, Sainz, Leclerc, top 5. Then the two McLarens, 6th and 7th. Hamilton, only 8th at the moment. He has made up one position on Fernando Alonso. Last lap, he made that move on Alonso for P8. Then we've got Yuki Tsunoda rounding out the points at the moment in P10. Safety car would help, but I know the Verstappen gap already is brutal, isn't it? The Verstappen gap already is brutal. Just got a bump draft F1 like they're doing Daytona 500. Yeah, no, yeah, you can't be doing bump drafting. Hey, Salty Dog, you probably missed it. I did the Daytona 500 watch along. I did, and I didn't know anything about it. I still did it because there was no racing. Do you know what I mean? I was that deprived of any motorsport. I did the Daytona 500. I think it was only me and Dougie watching, like, you know what I mean? It's just me and... It was just me and Dougie chilling out, but I did it anyway. For what it's worth. Ferrari quick in qualifying, shit in the race. Yeah, I mean, they're looking all right. Science is looking all right, but not quick enough to challenge for victory, are they? Oh, so the pit stops are starting now. So Russell's in and Leclerc is in. I would have predicted Leclerc to be the first one to want to change those tyres, to be honest. So they have gone hard. They have gone on to the hard tyres. So what do you mean medium? That's wrong. That graphic's wrong. That graphic on Sky then said medium tyres, but it's not. It's Leclerc's definitely on the hard tyres. Yeah, Bottas has got a damaged front wing there. So George Russell and Charles Leclerc are the two of the leading pack that have stopped then, and they've filtered back out in P12 and P14 at the moment. Yeah, so that's not helping Bottas, that front wing. That front wing is an absolute aero nightmare. Never mind, he's still on track. Yeah, caught a bit of it. Awesome. I know, but the thing about NASCAR is it's 1/3 racing, 2/3 full course caution. So, it's savage, you know. I can't. I just can't. I tried doing round 2, which was Atlanta. I tried doing round 2 of the NASCAR Championship at Atlanta. I lasted about 20 minutes, and even half an hour into the race, there was 3 full course cautions that were all like 20 minutes each, and I was just like, you know what? I've tried. This ain't the one. NASCAR is very difficult to do a watch along on because it's like I say, 1/3 racing, 2/3 nothing happening. So I'll give it a go. You only know these things by trying, don't you? Bit of trial and error going on. But I'm doing F1 and F2 this season, so that'll be enough. That is enough to keep me going. But yeah, so replay with Charles on the new tyres then has outbraked himself again into turn 10. I tell you what, it's been a scruffy race from Charles Leclerc this so far. It has been a scruffy first dozen laps this for Charles Leclerc. A very early pit stop for Russell, yeah. Early pit stops for Russell and Leclerc, and now the McLaren of Lando Norris being told to stop. Yeah, it's critical for Russell to clear this RB of Daniel Ricciardo, and Russell going down the inside then into the final corner. Oh. And Lando Norris does pit then at the end of lap 13. Oh, look at Perez. Perez hunting down Russell then. Now for second. Well, what will be second when it all shakes itself out again. Yeah, look at this. Sergio Perez looking quick, man. Sergio Perez in the Red Bull looking quick. And Russell's having to defend it into turn 4. And is he going to get the switch back, Sergio Perez? Look at that. He's got epic grip. Oh, this side-by-side, wheel-to-wheel into turn 5. And Perez takes the position. And that is effectively for second in the race. Sergio Perez will make it a Red Bull 1-2 once everybody else stops in front of them. Crucial Big overtake for Sergio Perez. Yeah, he had good pace. Interesting to see how long Hamilton will go. Yeah, Hamilton's still out there. Sorry about the live timings as froze. Every so often it unfreezes itself. It's just having a hard day. I apologise for the live timing board today, and also this little thing. I apologise for this today. It is having a tough time. I can only imagine that this website has experienced traffic like it has never experienced before. And they can't, the servers just can't handle it. So I apologise. It may not be accurate at some points, but, you know, I've just got to live with it today. Oh, look at this then. So, Sainz coming back out of the pits and Leclerc's got the jump on him for now. Oh, that's extremely close. On the apex of turn 1. But yeah, yeah, Leclerc complaining about front locking. Yeah, he has locked up a few times. So the order wants Alonso and Albon pit. The order realistically is Verstappen, Perez, Russell, Leclerc, Sainz. Top 5. So yeah, Alonso and Albon still out there. Perez has got to clear the Williams of Alexander Albon now. Super speedway races like Daytona and Talladega were probably the only ones you could do, yeah, or maybe the road course. Yeah, road course ones, but I feel like with that, I either want to do every round or not bother. Like just doing a round here and then 6 months later another race. It's you know, you either go for it or you don't. I feel like so. You know, it'd be F1 and F2 this year. And maybe some sim racing. If I can find an entertaining way to do sim racing streams, I will. But trying to find it where you've got to think: would I watch it myself? And if it's just me driving around like lap 382, would I watch that myself? Probably not. So I need to find a way to make the sim racing interesting, because I would love to do a sim racing series like midweek, just to keep the channel ticking over. Because there can be 2-3 weeks between a Grand Prix. And then what's the channel doing? Well, it's dead for 3 weeks. So it just keep things rolling. But I've just got to find a way to make an entertaining series out of it. But it's in the works. Anyway, lap 16 out of 57. It is now Verstappen, Perez, Russell, Leclerc, Sainz with Alonso and Albon finally taken to the pit stop. Finally taken to the pits. And so Sainz has gone back behind Leclerc, but for how long? Oh, look at this, the Roma. Oh, Sainz almost went for it in turn 11. That would have been absolutely disastrous. For a split second there, I was thinking... There was a split second there where I was like, Sainz is going down the inside of turn 11 and that is just going to be carnage. But he didn't. He backed out of it at the last second, because I don't think I've ever seen someone go down the inside of turn 11 and get away with it. But he might do it now. He's got the slipstream. He's got DRS down the main straight as Carlos Sainz. Oh, God, he's going for it. Oh, Sainz is racing completely free this season and absolutely does him. Sainz gets past his teammate again in this Bahrain Grand Prix on lap 17. Oh, that was a move as well. That was clean. That was late lunge. What a move. Sainz up to P4 then. And on the move. Hey, Ernesto, if you're still here, it might be on, mate. Sainz looking quick. Is Verstappen still out there on the soft tyre? I didn't even clock that. Verstappen's not even stopped yet. Let me Make this a little bit better. Oof. Okay. So Verstappen finally pits then on lap 8. He's just chilling, isn't he? He can pit when he wants. He can stay out 10 laps longer than everyone else. And onto the hard tyre then goes Max Verstappen. What's the gap going to be here? If it's more than 10. You're having a laugh, mate. This is ominous, this. This is ominous. Qualifying was close. But this is a little bit less. Wow, Leclerc's not happy. Look at Sainz on a rampage. So Sainz is going for P3 now. Sainz is going for third against George Russell. Into turn 1, Russell's having to defend. And now they're heading down the hill, to turn 4. And I tell you what, look at the way Russell's having to defend it. It's Sainz around the outside and gets a clean move with DRS. Sainz up to third. Oh, Carlos Sainz. 2 moves in 2 laps and he's up to third. Can he now go and charge down Sergio Perez? The gap is about 3 seconds. And I think Leclerc's got a problem with the car. Sorry, Dan, about your bet, mate. You know, Dan, if you're here, we had Verstappen win, Leclerc top 6, Perez top 10, didn't we? Well, Leclerc top 6 is in the balance right now. The Leclerc top 6 is looking a bit sus right now, mate. He might not even get to the end of this rate. It's not looking good for Charles Leclerc. Let's have a look. Right, let's have a look at this into turn 10. Leclerc is struggling out here. It is not a good opening race for Charles Leclerc. It's been, perhaps through no fault of his own, a mechanical issue with the brakes, but it's been a bit of a scruffy one. And he's currently down from second on the grid, running now lap 19, not even half race distance, down to 5th. Max 31. No, he's not. That was before he did the pit stop. Max is 5.5 ahead, which is still quite a bit, but no, 30 seconds ahead, mate. Oh, end the stream and come back next year, innit? Mind you might be 30 seconds ahead by the end, but hopefully not. Hopefully it's not that much of a gap. Yeah, no, cheers, Salty Dog, mate. I appreciate it. It's just that there'll be some people that will, they'll want the that to be working, But I appreciate that people, watch for different, will be on for different reasons. Yeah, Sainz showing the actual pace. Yeah, Sainz is looking quick. And look at the midfield. Daniel Ricciardo going really wide though. They've not even shown with the battle at the front. To be fair, the battle for second, third, fourth, fifth has been that good. We haven't even seen any of the midfield runners, which, to be fair, is not a bad thing. If they start showing the battle for 15th after a first couple of laps, it's probably not a great race. So this is the first time we're sort of seeing the RBs at the back of the midfield. Then Ricciardo down in 16th at the moment. And but Tsunoda up in 11th. He might get a point. Zhou Guanyu's P10 at the minute, which is he's doing very well. Yeah, Zhou Guanyu P10, then Tsunoda, Stroll, Magnussen 13th. Not bad from Kevin Magnussen as well. He's up from about, 16th on the grid to running 13th at the moment, so not too bad as Ricciardo outbreaks himself into turn 10 behind one of the Alpines. Where are Alpine, actually? So Ocon's 15th, Gasly last, 19th. Well, if you don't count Sargent, who's a lap down. Well, Sargent's a minute and 18 behind, so... Sargent's definitely last. But if you don't count Sargent, because he spun off. Right. So the McLarens are now catching Russell and Leclerc. Let's see what the gaps are. Every single car is on exactly the same strategy right now. Every single driver has gone soft to hard tyre. What? Normally you'll get one or two drivers who'll try an alternate strategy, or someone will go for a plan B of stick on a medium and see what happens. But every single car has started on the soft tyre and then gone to the hard. Well, it must be the fastest way to do the race. It better have be, or else if everyone's messed up. Yeah, Verstappen leads Perez then by 7.8 seconds. It's then another 2.5 seconds to Sainz in third. And Hülkenberg stops again after his contact in turn one. Oh, it's a long afternoon for Hülkenberg, this. I think Ricciardo's passed Ocon for 15th, if that means anything to anyone. No horn on the pit wall, is that right? No horn on the pit wall. Ooh. Do you think that case is done and dusted? Or do you think it'll linger on? Do you think it'll... those allegations, do you think it's over? Because I don't know. I don't know if we've heard the last of that. Hamilton 4 seconds behind Piastri. Awful setup move, yeah. He said in an interview, didn't he, yesterday, we had a setup. He said, me and George on Friday had the same, it'd be on Thursday because it's all shifted a day. But on Thursday, had exactly the same setup. And then he went left and George went right in terms of setup direction. And it looks like Lewis has got it wrong. And he's still in 8th. I would have expected him to come through a little bit. I would have expected him to be in the top 6, or even top 5. I would have expected him to make up positions during the race, but he's just sort of held station, which is not looking good. Marriage surely over. Well, his wife's there. I don't know. It depends if it's legit, I don't know. Probably a lot going on behind the scenes that we don't know about with that. Linger, someone wants him out. Even F1 Fantasy has crashed. It won't pull up in the app. Yeah. This is it. Like, first race of the season, the live timings are going to be struggling. And like you say, like the app and stuff and F1 Fantasy and all that. It's just going to have major traffic to it on race 1. By the time we get to race 3 or 4, Australian Grand Prix at 4 o'clock in the morning, we'll probably be all right. We'll probably be all right. The website probably won't crash at 4 o'clock in the morning. Well, that's European time. Obviously, there's fans all around the world on it, but Europe's asleep, so we might stand a chance. Anyone seen leaked text? No. Leaked text? No. Have you? Newey's the key number at Red Bull. Yeah, Adrian Newey is... Yeah, I'd agree with that. I'd say Adrian Newey probably more important than Max Verstappen. Isn't he? Really? Realistically, Adrian Newey is probably more important than Max Verstappen at Red Bull. Because you could replace Max Verstappen and stick, Norris in there or, and still win a championship, with Alonso or Norris or Hamilton or Leclerc. Well, he's not having a great day today, Leclerc, but Verstappen's replaceable. Adrian Newey, you're going to struggle. You ain't replacing Adrian Newey, like for like. You could probably put George Russell in that Red Bull and still win the championship, but you take out Adrian Newey and put in another designer, ooh, that's a bigger impact. So yeah, I mean, he is the real. He is the real. I tell you what, Leclerc's got these problems and everything, but he's not doing too bad. You know, Russell's falling back into his clutches. If anything, Leclerc sort of got himself together in this middle part of the race, and he's not doing too bad. But the McLarens are making progress. The McLarens are coming up behind this pair of Russell Leclerc now. Norris and Piastri closing in. Are they bad? Oh, you're asking Chris. Are they bad? It's bad for his marriage. Sex definitely end his marriage. Oh, I've not seen him. Albon looking for a move on Kevin Magnussen for 13th. Can't get it done in turn 1, but he got the slipstream in DRS up to turn 4. He's having a look, but not close enough behind the Haas at the moment then. So what have we got then? So Verstappen leads Perez by 10.5 seconds, then 2 seconds to Sainz, who's cleared Russell then. So Sainz is in a solid P3, actually only 2.3 behind Perez. So Sainz might be able to challenge for second. Then we've got gap to Russell in 4th, who's only 1.2 ahead of Leclerc, who's now only 2.6 ahead of Norris. Then Piastri, Hamilton P8. Not a great first race this season for Lewis Hamilton, is it? And then Alonso 9th, again a little bit anonymous. Zhou will take a P10 right now. Shake your hand and call it a day. P10 in the Sauber, not too bad at all. And then it's Tsunoda 11th, Lance Stroll, who was involved in the turn 1 incident, has recovered it to P12, which isn't bad really, is it? Then we've got Magnussen, Albon, Ricciardo, Ocon, the lead pair of the Alpines in 16th. And we've got Bottas, who had front wing damage, in 17th, and Pierre Gasly, P18. Hulkenberg 19th, having had a pit stop to change his nose at the beginning of the race, so he's out of, he's a pit stop behind everybody, essentially. And then Sargent, another minute behind that in dead last after spinning off at turn 4 earlier on, but was able to carry on. And Hamilton saying his seat's broken. What? Hamilton's seat's broken? I don't think I've ever heard of that before. I remember Hamilton's headrest coming loose at the Azerbaijan Grand Prix once, and he's having to go down the straight holding his headrest down. But I've never heard of a broken seat before mid-race. Never heard of that before. WTF, exactly. Must have a nose on Reddit. Yeah, I'll be having a look on Reddit after as well. Oh. A broken seat. Well, just when you think you've seen it all. Albon still within DRS range of Kevin Magnussen for 13th, but I was hoping for more from Williams. I mean, yeah, it's early days, it's round 1 of the longest season ever, but I was hoping that Williams would be in the points off the bat, straight away, bang, Albon, P7, P8, something like that, but not quite yet. As he's P14. And Zhou Guanyu under pressure from Yuki Tsunoda for that final point as well in P10. We are at almost half race distance. Verstappen now extends the lead to 13 seconds. The live timer just froze again, but I'll just leave it on and eventually it should unfreeze. when you see the cars are just completely static there, see there it goes, it's back on. When the cars are completely froze, then you know it's having trouble. It's back on again. It's just one of them. It'd probably be the only race that I have this issue. That this website has this issue, to be fair. Probably be fine from round 2 on. Please do drop a like on the stream if you haven't already. You know, I should get into the habit of saying that a bit more often, but please do drop a like if you haven't. You know, help the channel get noticed and, you know, grow the channel this year. Get a few people in for Saudi Arabia next weekend as well. Helps promote the channel and get yourself subscribed if you're enjoying the stream. But Verstappen leads 13.5. And then it says Sainz is slowly closing in on Perez. Sainz has got a shout at P2 here. And Sainz has absolutely left Russell in the dust. There's an 8-second gap nearly between the Ferrari and the Mercedes. And Leclerc, despite his issues with the front brakes, is keeping pace with George Russell. So fair play. He's dealing with the issue and he's getting on with it, Charles Leclerc, now. And he's gathered himself together, and there is an issue, but he's dealing with it, and he's doing pretty well. You know, the pace is pretty good from Charles Leclerc. Norris 2 seconds behind the Ferrari in P6, who is being followed by Piastri. Nothing to separate the two McLaren drivers, as we see a replay on board with Lewis Hamilton into turn 10 then, and runs wide. We've seen a few drivers do that. I think he's choosing to run wide there rather than locking a front. Yeah, exactly. Like me and Martin Brundle talking over each other, exactly the same thing. Instead of locking a front brake into turn 10, you may as well just go a little bit wide. Rather than going, I braked a bit late, let's slam on and turn the front tyre into a 50p. You might as well just run a little bit wide. As Stroll pits then on lap 28, and it is another set of hard tyres for the Aston Martin. So Stroll going strategy of soft to hard, and comes out back into the race down in 18th, just ahead of Nico Hülkenberg. Let's go Sainz. I tell you what, Ernesto, Sainz has got a good shout at second here. As I say that, Perez opens the gap to 2.4 seconds. But Sainz looking the stronger of the Ferrari pair this afternoon. Verstappen apparently lapping. Well, yeah. Yeah, Verstappen. We've just got to focus on the battle behind, haven't we? It's another year. It's another year. Buckle in. It was close in qualifying. At least we had a day of a day of unknown. But this is picking up where he left off at the end of 23. But Sainz is keeping Perez honest for second. Sainz has got the pace of Perez. So the fight for P2 is still on. As Zhou pits from P2 then on lap 29. Let's go Sainz. I have to say Magnussen keeping Albon at bay, yeah. Fair play. And with Zhou stopping, it promotes Magnussen up into P11 at the moment, but he'll have to stop again. Haas not looking that bad. Obviously, Hulkenberg's had the bad luck with the incident in turn 1. But yeah, Haas, like I said, you know, all the analysts and all the pundits and everyone writing Haas off as the slowest car. But it was Alpine all along. It was Alpine all along. Yuki! Yeah, Yuki Tsunoda up into the points at the moment. I still don't know how Perez is much slower. It's not really good enough, is it? If you're like Carl was saying, you're 0.8 of a second slower per lap than your teammate, and this is in exactly the same car. It's not good enough. But he's lucky that the race pace of the, Perez would be really exposed if Ferrari and Mercedes and whoever else, McLaren or whatever, had more competitive race pace. Perez would be exposed badly. He's just lucky that there isn't half a dozen cars in between him and Verstappen. Perez is just getting away with it. He's lucky that Sainz, Russell, Leclerc, Norris and Piastri have not got the race pace to be in that 15-second gap between him and Verstappen. Perez will cruise to a P2 here, but on the same way, he's been absolutely dominated. Look at the track map there. Verstappen's already out of turn 3, and Perez and Sainz quarter of a lap behind. So is Hamilton slowly catching Piastri for 7th, maybe? How's the race been? I've seen better. It's been, no, forget that. It's been amazing. Unbelievable. Opening round of the season. Best race ever. It's not been great. Sainz is looking good. There's been a few battles that second, third, fourth has switched around a few times in the first stint. Leclerc's been struggling with his front brakes. So Leclerc's been struggling a little bit, but he's gathered it together now. In the midfield, Magnussen's still holding off Albon for 11th. But I feel it's a matter of time, really, for Albon, surely. Oh, and Bottas is in the pits. And it's a long stop. Front left, slow getting... What are they doing? Oh, what are they doing at Sauber? What are they doing at Sauber? Oh, Valtteri Bottas's race is absolutely been ruined here. There's something gone seriously wrong there at Sauber. Bottas has gone into the pits. They've taken the front... They've tried to put the front left on. I don't even know what is going on at Sauber there, but Valtteri Bottas's race has absolutely been ruined. He does now get out of the pits. Oh, it's just a quick pit stop time of 52.4 seconds. Bear in mind, the average is about 2.5 second pit stop. Valtteri Bottas is 52.9. So just a little bit of a slow stop from Sauber there. Only the 57 seconds slower than what it should be. Or 50 seconds, sorry, slower than it should be. What a shambles, all that. If you're in his seat now, if you're in his position now, you think, well, what is even the point now? We're a lap down. It'd just kill all your adrenaline, wouldn't it? If you're the driver and maybe you're fighting for maybe the last point or whatever it is, you come into the pits and then you still sat there and they don't change the wheel and there's a problem with the wheel nut and then you just sat there and all the cars are roaring back, and you just sat there and all your adrenaline would just drain away. And then by the time you just release back into the race 50 seconds later, I'd just kill you. I'd just absolutely... Nah, it would not be good, mate. Bottas has been done. If anyone else in the top 10 currently in Red Bull next to Max, would anyone even have a chance? You mean if you pair anyone with him, would they stand a chance against him? It's a good question, that. That's a proper question, that. Yeah, the adrenaline dump as you sit waiting would be brutal. Would be. I think being honest with you, because of the way Red Bull is, that car is so embedded within Red Bull that I think he would beat anybody that you put in the other car. But there would be other drivers that are keeping more honest. If you put Lando Norris in the other Red Bull, it would get interesting from time to time. I don't know what would happen if you put George Russell in the other Red Bull. What would happen then? It's very hard to say, but I feel like Verstappen would beat anybody, yeah. But would he absolutely walk away with it? Like, if you put Hamilton in that other Red Bull, like, what are we saying? Oh, Fernando Alonso would give him a good do. Actually, I tell you what. I say Fernando Alonso would give him the best fight. You put Alonso in that Red Bull with Verstappen, he'll give him elbows out a few times. I think Verstappen will still beat him, but it would be absolute fireworks. Alonso will give him a good run for his money. Everyone else will get slapped. It would be absolute fireworks, mate. But Alonso's still got it, mate. 43, still got it. But it's just been done by Russell, though. Russell up to P6. Jams a raid. Oh, get in. Was he streaming? Hey, yo. Join half-time. The half-time raid. Lap 35. We're at half-time as well. Except it doesn't stop, but we're about halfway through. Lap 35 on 57. Red Bull 1-2, Ferrari 3-4. Piastri P5 at the moment, but yet to stop. Raid. I rate the raid. What match is on? What are you watching? Big ups to JA, mate, coming through. Raid's run for his sim. Oh. So Leclerc pits then at the end of lap 35. How is this going to play out? Yeah, it's going to be Piastri versus Hamilton at pit exit here. Piastri... And Norris is going to be clearly ahead of Piastri, but it is going to be Piastri versus Hamilton. I think Hamilton's going to get the jump. They're going to be side by side into turn one. Oh, this is going to be incredibly close, wheel to wheel. Oh, and Piastri passed and put. Oh, but he's lost the rear end and Hamilton gets the position. Oh, that was incredibly close. Piastri on the cold tyres just couldn't get the grip when he put his foot down at the exit of turn one, and Hamilton swoops past into P8 then. So Verstappen leads Perez by 18 seconds. It's then Sainz, Russell, Alonso, Leclerc, Norris, Hamilton, Piastri and Albon currently in the final points paying position of P10. Cheese! Doing good, mate. You're back to 3 p.m. Oh, the Satazor. Yes, mate. Chatting cheese on Satazor. Yeah, big up. Sainz pits then from P3. Yes, Kim. Who's impressed me the most so far? That's a good question. Verstappen. No, who's impressed me the most so far? Sainz. Sainz has had a very strong race and is has got the chance to fight Perez for P2. So I'd say Carlos Sainz, driver of the day up to now. There's still 20 laps to go. But yeah, Sainz has looked very good. Leclerc on fresher tyres down the inside of Fernando Alonso then for P5. Yeah, so Alonso, so neither Red Bull have pitted for a second time, and neither has Alonso. So yeah, Verstappen, Perez, Alonso, and Albon yet to pit then. It looks like this is going to be a boring season for me as a huge Alonso. Yeah, Alonso's in no man's land where he's just behind that. Aston's not strong enough to fight with Ferrari and Red Bull at the front. It's just behind that. It might be just a season of P6s, P6, P7, P8 for Alonso this year before he goes to Mercedes next year. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying Alonso rolls the dice and goes for a 1-year deal at Mercedes next year. That's what I'd like to see anyway. But yeah, it might be a bit of he can't fight for the win, but he'll pick up solid points every week. But that's not the excitement you want, is it? You want Alonso, like last season, down the inside, leading into turn 1, That's what you want. Alonso fighting for wins. Sainz driving like he's got nothing to lose because he doesn't exactly. Sainz is out of contract for next season, so he's just driving free. Free as a bird. No pressure. He's lost his seat to Hamilton for next year at Ferrari. And you know what? Pressure's off. And he's delivering. And look at this. He's only 1.6 behind Perez now. So Perez has stopped. Has Perez gone onto the soft tyre? Oh, Perez is like gambled. Oh, this could be interesting at the end. Because Perez has got to make these tyres last 20 laps. So Perez will probably disappear off for a few laps. And then Sainz will reel him back in towards the last half dozen laps of the race, is what I would say. And Verstappen pits from the lead. Yes, Declan, welcome into the stream, bro. Satnin, first race of the season. You want to see him battle at least, but being in no man's land, it's going to be boring. It's not going to be great as an Alonso fan. Sainz could take second at the end. Yeah, I feel like that could be the way that the cookie crumbles. Perez should, in theory, now gap Sainz. But can he gap Sainz by enough that when his tyres go off and Sainz starts reeling him back in, he's got a big enough gap to keep that P2? That's going to be the game of chess that's going to occur over the last 18 laps of this race. But if Sainz can keep up with Perez in these first few laps of this stint, it bodes very well for Sainz. As Norris goes up the inside of Fernando Alonso and Piastri pits then. In the other McLaren, was it a slow pit stop? Nothing to write home about. It might have been just a couple of tenths slower than optimal, but nothing like the Valtteri Bottas 52-second pit stop. And we see that replay of Hamilton versus Piastri in turn 1, and Piastri puts his foot down and just loses the rear end a little bit. Seeing a replay on board with Daniel Ricciardo down in 15th at the moment. I had him on for a point in my predictions. I had him on scraping a P10, but it might be his teammate that's got more of a chance. So that's the gap then between Perez and Sainz is 2.1 seconds. They're then 7 seconds clear of Russell, who's still under pressure from Leclerc for P4. But Verstappen has checked out, mate. 16 and a half. Martin Brundle saying advantage Perez for now, but there's still 18 laps to go. Advantage Perez for now, but getting to that last 7 or 8 laps and Perez might be struggling a little bit. We'll see. Hamilton catching up to the back of Fernando Alonso. The two old rivals are about to go wheel to wheel again in 2024. They've been going wheel to wheel for 17 years. And Hamilton does pass Alonso then for P7 in this Grand Prix. And I was hoping for a better race for Lewis today. I honestly thought Lewis would be top 5. You might have to settle with a P7 in the opening race. Yes, Todd, welcome to the stream, bro. I appreciate the JA halftime soccer Satazor. Have I said that right? Yeah. The halftime soccer Satazor raid. Big ups, bro. Big ups, bro. Always supporting the ting, and I appreciate it. But yes, welcome in. If only briefly, welcome to the season opening Bahrain Grand Prix. And look at that, fastest lap of the race with... I'll tell you what, after a difficult first stint for Charles Leclerc, he's gathered it together and he's only 1.4 behind George Russell now for P4. And Lando Norris is not a million miles away. You know, is Lando Norris... Lando Norris has got a chance to finish 4th here. That would be his best possible result. As we see Alonso under pressure from Oscar Piastri. And Piastri does pass Alonso. I'm sorry, SHT, but Alonso dropping back a bit as we get towards the latter stages of the race. Piastri up to 8th, then McLaren 6th and 8th. I think they started 7th and 8th. But Norris, I think Norris could pick up another couple of positions before the end. Aston Martin then at the moment 9th and 10th. Verstappen needs to be stopped. I know. It's savage, isn't it? The Verstappen era is hitting hard. You watched my qualifying stream at 3 a.m. Fair play, mate. That's hardcore fan mode, that is. Hey, I tell you what then, Todd. Come back for the Australian Grand Prix in a few weeks. Round 3. I'm doing round 2, but this is why it's relevant. Australia, 4 a.m. Who's joining me for that one? I think I might be sat here talking to myself at 4 o'clock in the morning. 2 weeks on Sunday. I was looking at the timetable. Australian Grand Prix is usually 6, 7 a.m. 4 a.m. this year. I was like, you are kidding me. That is going to be savage. But if you can do it, Todd, you know, if you can be up in the middle of the night, then you might be the only one in the stream. So big ups. Do it. I dare you. Please. Somebody. That is going to be a savage stream, that. Oh, and Leclerc is... Leclerc catching Russell for P4. Holy. Yeah, can you imagine the tyre? Am I you, Flabby? And Suede in Miami. Australia, it'll be like Saturday night for you. You're so far behind Australian time that you're on the previous day. That will literally be like 9, 10 p.m. Saturday night. That actually works out. If you're in the US, the races that are far east actually work out not too bad. You've got Saturday night races like Japan, China, Australia. You're just chilling on a Saturday night. It's worse if you're in Europe. Mind you, all the European races are early doors, though, if you're in the US. Because I remember when I was living in Mexico, all the European races are like 7, 8 a.m., which is a drag. So it kind of, doesn't pay off in the end. It's good for a couple of races, but the European time zone is probably the one to be in if you're an F1 fan. So Perez, like I said, has opened the gap to Sainz at the moment, but there's 15 laps to go. And Back Sainz to reeling back in as Fernando Alonso stops for his second stop of the day, and he's gone on to the hard tyres again. Yeah, see you in 26. Yeah, mate. Peace out, bruv. Nah, we come back next year. Ferrari mode next year, then 26. Big time. Oh, no. See you in 2026 is main. It's going to be 9 p.m. Yeah, that is sound, isn't it? Australia's 11 p.m. Better than 4 a.m. that, though, isn't it? I'd take an 11 p.m. race. Well, it's not been a classic, this. But there is a battle for fourth upon us in the next lap or two. Leclerc has gathered it together and is now challenging the Mercedes of George Russell for fourth place. Hamilton joining Ferrari for the money, absolute car crash of a move otherwise. Well, we'll see when we get there. I reckon it's a massive. I don't even think it is about money. I think it's about nostalgia, and I don't think it's about money. Like, Lewis has already got enough money. You know what I mean? It's like saying, you know, he's got enough money to $35 million a year or $40 million a year. It's not going to change anything, is it? But it's more about, if he wins, put it this way, if Hamilton wins a championship in a Ferrari, it means more than the 6 he's won with Mercedes. It just does. Like, Ferrari just has that historic nostalgia to it that you just can't get anywhere else. Winning a championship within a Ferrari is just a dream. And especially because they haven't won it for so long, they haven't won it since 2007, it would be maybe even bigger than it would be if they'd have won it 3 years ago or something. It'd still be massive. But the fact they haven't won it for like getting on for 20 years, if you're the one, you see, that's the big one, isn't it? If you're the one to break the duck and win a championship in a Ferrari after 20 years, you're a hero forever. For Italians and the Tifosi, you're a hero. Whereas win a championship for Mercedes, yeah, it's great, but you become timeless. And that's what they're all trying to do. That's what Vettel tried to do, couldn't do it. Alonso's tried to do it, couldn't do it. Hamilton's going to try and do it, might not do it. But if he does, it's major. It's more than his other 7 titles combined. It's just massive. And it'd be that magic 8th as well, to have won more championships than Schumacher as well. So there's a lot of reasons. I think money is the bottom of the list. Max just couldn't let Charles have fastest lap. No, exactly. Charles gets fastest lap. Bang. Immediately done. So Alonso on his fresh tyres then takes Zhou Guanyu for the final points paying position at the moment. Lap 45 or 57. 12 laps to go, and Alonso is back into the points. But he would have been hoping for more than that, especially after the beginning of last season was so positive for Aston Martin. It has dropped off for them, unfortunately. On board with Charles Leclerc then as we start lap 46. Start lap 45. And he's close to Russell, but not close enough to make a lunge as he's thought about it. There's no point in doing that, Charles. There's no point in going for a half move to try and scare him, because you're just going to be slower out of turn 1, turn 2, and you're going to ruin your run into turn 4. You might as well just keep on the racing line. You're not going to scare him. Oh, no, man. am legitimately not even watching the race with the TV on. I mean, if you're all about one driver, and that one driver hasn't got a great car or is not having a great race, it does completely kill it. When I first started watching it, like 06, 07, and when Lewis turned up, it was all about Lewis. If Lewis retired from the race or got a puncture or had a bad race at the back, I didn't care. And so if you're all about one driver, it gets peak when that one driver's not having a good race. So I can fully understand. I can fully get where you're coming from. In the last 5 or 6 years, I've sort of gone more of a enjoying it from a sort of a more unbiased way, but I just want a championship battle, an excitement. I don't really mind who wins, but here comes Leclerc. Yeah, Leclerc's closer now to Russell. Leclerc has to go for it in this next lap or two. Red Bull owning the grid at the moment is not giving us anything. Yeah, it's brutal. It's brutal. It's picked up where it left off last season, which is... We knew it. We knew it was coming, but the reality of that, it is hitting. It is hitting. The reality of Red Bull picking up where they left off is... Oh, and Russell under pressure goes wide at turn 10 then. Here we go then. Leclerc, they're going to be side by side heading up to turn 11. And Leclerc's got the momentum. He's got the inside line into 11. And Leclerc does make up the position after putting Russell under pressure, forcing him into a mistake. And Leclerc makes it Ferrari 3-4. Russell drops down to 5. So we've got Red Bull 1-2, Ferrari 3-4. Mate, how is my prediction looking? Mate, my prediction's nearly bang on, mate. Except for I've got Hamilton and Russell the wrong way round. I've got Sainz and Leclerc the wrong way round. But I had 2 Red Bulls, 2 Ferraris, then Mercedes, McLaren, Mercedes. We have now got 2 Red Bulls, 2 Ferraris, Mercedes, McLaren, Mercedes. Ooh, it's not a bad prediction that now, is it, really? Except I've got Russell and Hamilton the wrong way round. But forgive me for that. It's still a pretty good prediction, isn't it? I had Alonso a bit higher up as well, but you've got a lot of faith in Alonso, haven't you? I'm going to regret having both Alpine drivers in one of your fantasy teams. Yeah. You might have dropped a bollock there, mate. You're definitely going to regret that. You're probably thinking, yeah, I'll stick them in there. Good value. They're going to be a good midfield runner. They're going to bag me points every single weekend. They're nice and cheap. Get an Ocon in there, Gasly in there. Oh, you're thinking strategy, they'll pick up valuable points. 2 consistent drivers. Absolute shambles. Yeah. Yeah, that's the pecking order, yeah. Yeah. Alonso's going to put Stroll under pressure for P9. I have to say, Zhou and Magnussen have had a really good race with what they've had. Yeah. Yeah, Zhou and Magnussen, fair play, 11th and 12th. They're probably not getting any points out of it with these 2 Astons. 6 seconds ahead. Yeah, Zhou's 6.5 behind Alonso. So these Astons will probably switch around in the next lap or two. And if Sainz wants that P2, he's going to have to start reeling in Perez now. But Perez's tyre's going to wear out fast enough to the point where Sainz can reel him back in. I'm not sure now. As Alonso does get up into P9, they've switched the Astons round. Whether Stroll what to defend that or not. He couldn't, and Alonso then up to 9th. So it's Verstappen who leads Perez by 18.1. Then it's Sainz, Leclerc, Russell, Norris, Hamilton, Piastri, Alonso, Stroll, top 10 with 7, 8 laps to go. Yeah, it's not been a classic, has it? It's not been a classic. Bring on Saudi Arabia. Zhou started 17th. Yeah, fair play, man. You know, Zhou from 17th to 11th is probably the maximum he can get out of it. So, yeah. Fair play. Stroll's had a decent recovery as well. Yeah, he has. In fact, I forgot about that. Yeah, Stroll was facing the wrong way coming out of turn 1. So to recover it back to get a point is a decent race. So, you know, you might sit here and give him stick and say, what are you doing in F1? You should have been binned off years ago. But fair play. Lance Stroll's had a decent, solid race after being spun out in turn 1 by Nico Hülkenberg, who was a little bit ambitious into turn 1. But yeah, Stroll's recovered well. Alpine have done nothing. 16th and 18th. RB are a bit of a disappointment, to be honest. I thought RB were a little bit more, you know, maybe fighting with Aston Martin for the final points rather than being 13th and 14th. So they're a little bit off where I thought they would be. But everything else is pretty much, apart from the Alpine shocker, everything else is pretty much where I expected it. Red Bull quickest, Ferrari second quickest, then Mercedes and McLaren, you know, that sums it up. You've got, you know, Mercedes, McLaren. That kind of sums it up. They're pretty evenly matched. Then the Astons, and then and Zhou's done very well, to be fair. But yeah, no massive shock. Yeah, has to have improved on, and that's what they were focusing on in testing as well, wasn't it? I think they really struggled last season with tyre deg, did Haas, but yeah, they seem better this season. Shame that Hülkenberg was involved in that turn 1 incident, else he could have got some points today. He could have scraped a... Well, would he have? Would he have been fighting the Astons? Maybe not. Maybe he would have been 11th, but it's a shame that he's ended up 17th, isn't it? Well, it's not been a duel in the desert. It's not been a duel in the desert like the 2014 Bahrain Grand Prix where they were fighting for the lead. The old Rosberg Hamilton duel in the desert. 10 years ago, that now. It's not been one of them races, has it? The live timings just froze again, but not a lot changing anyway. Yeah, the closest battle on track now is Magnussen, Tsunoda, Ricciardo. Yeah, Perez has got Sainz covered, but Sainz will take a podium, I'm sure. It's not too bad. .2, so even now Perez is still pulling away from Sainz, so that's a shame. But not for Red Bull, as Hülkenberg replay into turn 1. Hülkenberg taking Ocon for 16th as we cut to Lando Norris. Can Norris do anything about George Russell? 6 laps to go. Oh, well. Well, Norris could get P5 off George Russell in the last few laps here. Yeah, that was our hope for a dramatic finish. But that's not materialised. But Norris versus Russell for 5th might materialise. And look at these three. Magnussen, Tsunoda and Ricciardo. Still lots to watch. Still a little bit to watch, yeah. So Yuki being told to swap positions. I mean, not that it matters. It's P13 and 14 anyway, but team orders for 13th and 14th, is it really necessary? Well, what they're thinking that Ricardo can challenge Magnussen, but even if Ricardo passes Magnussen, he's still not getting any points. I don't think they need to introduce team orders at this point. I think it's not going to make a lot of difference, is it? And look at this, Verstappen's coming up to lap them all as well. The thing is, Daniel's moaning about that, and there they do the switch. But to what end? I mean, if I don't know what's their best scenario for Ricardo. He passes Magnussen, passes Joe, and then there's like a safety car in the last couple of laps. He's still not going to get any points. Exactly. What's the point in a switch now when you're 13th and 14th? Anyway, that's what they've done. That's what they've decided to do. You know. Unfortunately, Mitch, I have to agree with you. It's not been the season opener I was dreaming of. It's not at all. I can't be. I've got to be real, I know. It's been a shocker. It's been a shocker. There's been little touches of excitement every now and then, you know, but there's been little hopes and glimmers of action, but it's not been great, has it, this? I hope this is the worst race of the season. It's not been great. I mean, we had a bit of battle in between like Russell and Leclerc and Sainz for like 4th, 5th, 6th, like those positions. The lead has never been under contention since they got out of turn 1. Perez has been under pressure for that second. Perez came through a bit. Leclerc's been struggling in that first stint, but there's been little minor talking points, but there's not been any major sort of story to this race, really. It's a shame, innit? It's a shame. Just poor, mate. Yeah, I'm thinking as well, Mitch. It doesn't set itself up for an absolute stellar season, does it, Liz? I can't lie. Quali was looking good, man. Quali yesterday, I was like, hello, let's have a look. But this has just confirmed that Red Bull have carried on where they've left off last season, and you know, how excited can you get for the battle for sixth and stuff like that? You know, how it's not, it doesn't quite kick the same, does it? When the winner's 20 seconds clear at the front, the fight for P6. Oh, Tsunoda wants them to switch it back. What is the point, man? They shouldn't have even switched him in the first place, but now Tsunoda wants to switch back because Ricciardo hasn't been able to make any inroads and pass Magnussen. So Tsunoda's like, switch back. Look at the gaps from both Astons. That's the definition of being in no man's land. Yeah. So, yeah, the 5.5. Sorry. Alonso's 21 seconds behind Piastri. And the pair of them are 10 seconds ahead of Zhou Guanyu. Yeah, so it's no man's land. Yeah, they're behind that top 4 teams and ahead of the rest of the pack. Yeah, it is, isn't it? Slap bang in the middle in no man's land. You're quicker than Haas and Sauber and RB and Williams and Alpine, but you're not as quick to fight for a podium with the Ferrari and the Mercedes and the McLarens. It's a bit, disappointing for Aston Martin. Is Ricciardo going to go for a last lap lunge on Kevin Magnussen? Unreal. Yeah, how does Max find 20 seconds lead in every race? Because he's just on a different level in the best car. He's just a different level. Perez can do nothing about it. They put the best driver in the best car and he just romps away with it. And this is the 3rd straight season of it. Well, we're doing F2 this year. So hopefully that can provide excitement where this doesn't. Anyway, it's just the first race. I hope this is the worst race of the season. But I have my doubts. Final lap. Final lap of the season opening Bahrain Grand Prix. Well, we're going to rate the race out of 10 because I always do race out of 10 and driver of the day. Might be a bit of an interesting one. Is Daniel Ricciardo going to go for it for Kevin Magnussen for P12? But Perez has kept Sainz covered. The gap's 3.1. And look at this. And now the camera turns to Max Verstappen, who's barely had any coverage throughout the race. We've not even seen Verstappen throughout this race, such has been the eternal dominance. My God. We knew when this Red Bull turned up in testing and he was cruising round, everybody knew that this Red Bull is a world beater yet again. Max Verstappen rounds the final corner and in dominant style, just like last season, he begins this season in similarly dominant fashion and wins the Bahrain Grand Prix by 22.5 seconds. Absolutely brutal and ominous for the season to come. Sergio Perez will make it a Red Bull 1-2 and crosses the line in second. It's Carlos Sainz third. It's going to be Charles Leclerc P4, so it's Red Bull from Red Bull, Ferrari from Ferrari. I sound like Jonathan Ledgard in 2010. It's Red Bull from Red Bull, Ferrari from Ferrari. Then it's George Russell who's going to finish in P5, and Norris, Hamilton, Piastri, and the final points go to Alonso and Stroll in P10. Not a race for the ages. And my predictions weren't bad. I went Red Bull from Red Bull, Ferrari from Ferrari, then Mercedes, McLaren, Mercedes. So I've sort of got the top 8 right if you want to. Top 7 right if you allow me. If you allow me a little bit of a leeway, I'm sort of there or thereabouts with the predictions. Only Ricardo, I was off with that. You know, I got Ricardo P10 and he was like 14th, but 13th. But yeah, there you go. Verstappen picks up where he left off in 2024 and gets the fastest lap as well. So 26 points for Max Verstappen, 18 for Perez, 15 for Sainz, 12 for Leclerc, 10 for Norris, 10 for Russell, 8 for Norris. 6 points for Hamilton, 4 points for Piastri, 2 points for Alonso, 1 point for Lance Stroll, who was facing the wrong way coming out of turn 1. So fair play. Right, we're going to do Rate the Race and Driver of the Day. Always fun when F1 comes back. Well, yeah, I like that bit of positive attitude. It is always good when F1 comes back, you know. And we do F2 this season as well, so we're coming in double barrel. And the only positive I can take away for Aston Martin today is didn't get lapped by Verstappen. Well, yeah. Cheers, Ernesto. Right. What are we saying? Rate the race out of 10. Wasn't great, was it? It's got to be like a 3. 6. Mitch is going 1. It's not a 6, Flabby. Not anywhere near a 6. One's a bit made. 4.5. I wouldn't even go that. Where are you getting 4.5? Can we do halves? Can we do 0.5s then? All right. We'll do 0.5 so it can be not only round numbers. You can go in between. It's got to be like a 2.5. It's a 1's savage. A 1's brutal. A 1's overdoing it. Because we did have a little bit of fighting with Russell and Leclerc and stuff, and, you know. But it's not much higher than a 3. 2.5 out of 10, I'm saying. Rate the race 2.5 out of 10. It wasn't great at all. Hopefully that's the low. In fact, what I'll do is I'll keep a record of the scores I give, and then we can go back at the end and say, right, that race was crap, that race was brilliant, whatever. So I'm going 2.5 out of 10 for Bahrain. That was not good. That was not good, mate. That was shocking. It's what it deserves, meh. Yeah, it's not much higher than a 1, is it? 5 points for the hype before the race. Well, if you're talking about hype before the race, yeah, 9 out of 10. But the actual race itself, 2.5 out of 10. It's shocking. One of the worst Bahrain Grand Prix I've ever seen. Join me next week for Saudi Arabia. Oh my God, it might be a long season, this. But 22.5 seconds he won by. And driver of the day then, all right, so the race 2.5 out of 10. Who's driver of the day? Who is driver of the day? Have you just got to give it to the man? Have you just got to give it to Max? That's a bit of a boring one, but is it also the true one? Who else? A driver of the day? Do you give it Stroll for the recovery to P10? Perez from 5th to 2nd is not bad. Sainz had a good day. Leclerc didn't have a great day. Russell dropped back a couple of positions. McLaren, meh. Hamilton, meh. Alonso and Stroll, meh. Well, Stroll, recovery. Zhou, Magnussen, Ricciardo, Tsunoda, Albon, Hulkenberg. I think it's between Stroll, Sainz, but I have to give it Verstappen, really. Driver of the day. He wins by 22.5 seconds in the opening round of the season and absolutely asserts his dominance. I have to give drive because no one else has done an outstanding performance, really, have they? You know, no one's recovered from P9 to second or some, incredible drive elsewhere. So I'm going to give it to Max Verstappen. He's won by 22.5 seconds. So race 2.5 out of 10, driver of the day, Max Verstappen. That has been the opening round of the 2024 F1 season. I will be back. I don't know if I do practice next weekend, but I will be doing similar to this weekend in the way that I'll be doing, hopefully, qualifying F2 sprint and of course, the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. On Saturday afternoon, as it says there, I was scrolling along the bottom, next race, Saturday the 9th of March from 4:30 p.m. Join me for that. Hopefully it's better than a 2.5 out of 10 race. But yeah, Verstappen starts the season in very strong, dominant fashion. It's looking ominous. But yeah, cheers. And if you haven't dropped a like on stream, please do drop a like. It helps the stream get noticed. Hopefully can have a few more in for Saudi Arabia next weekend. And for the rest of the season. And if you haven't subscribed, please do subscribe. And just hit 500. So we want to move on from there. Let's get to 600 before the end of the year. That would be good. But cheers. Sainz, yeah, maybe Sainz for driver of the day. But I've just gone for Verstappen just because. If Sainz had got second, Sainz would have been driver of the day for me. If it had got second, it would have been Sainz. But I have to give it Verstappen for the big dominant drive. But yeah, cheers Salty Dog. Cheers Mitch for being in. I know it's not been a great race, but cheers everybody for bearing with and seeing it through. Ernesto, SHT, Flabby G. And then we had the raid from Jamza at half-time as well. Big ups to all the JA as well who come through and popped in. But yeah, cheers. I'll be back in a few days for the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. Peace out, guys. Thank you for joining me for the first race of the 2024 season. Verstappen wins again.